So happy Jagannath Rath Yatra festival to everybody. Today in India, we are going to have the Rath festival, which is being full. So Prabhu told me to speak on the Bhagavad Gita as well, right?
Yeah, yes, actually.
Chapter 8, text 8.
Yeah, we didn't actually discuss about the Jagannath Rath. See, yeah, talk Bhagavad Gita, because today we have, and then you can connect something, some pastime, one pastime of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra.
Okay.
Also.
So I'll do that. We'll chant Jai Radha Madhava first, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes.
Hare Krishna. So we are reading from chapter 8 and text 8. Sarvati Prabhu, is chapter 8, text 8, right?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Vishnu Priya can display the text.
You can display the text. Very good.
You are reciting chapter 8 and verse 9, right?
Yeah, verse 9. We can show the verse. That will be good for everybody. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. So we're going to read and you can repeat the verse. So I'm going to read word by word. Kavim Puranam Anushashitaram Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anor Aniyamsham Anushmared Ya Anor Aniyamsham Anushmared Yaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaha
Tamasaha
Parastat
Parastat
Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat.
Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and read word by word meaning. Kavim, the one who knows everything. Puranam, the oldest. Anushashitanam, the controller. Anu, than the atom. Aniyamsham, smaller. Anushmare, always thinks of. Yah, one who. Sarvasya, of everything. Dhataram, the maintainer. Achintya, inconceivable. Rupam, whose form. Aditya Varnam, luminous like the sun. Tamasaha, to darkness. Parastat, transcendental. So I'm going to read the translation by Divine Geshe-la Prabhupada, and then we can read the purport together. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. So any volunteer who wants to read maybe 10 lines, and this we finish. We must be having like 10, 20, 40, 50, like 60 lines here. So 50 to 60 lines. So everybody can read 10 lines, that'd be wonderful. So everybody can participate, right? So please go ahead. Any volunteer who wants to proceed with the purport.
I think Dr. Madan Kunduji is starting to read, but he's on mute.
Yeah, unmute him.
Okay. Process of thinking of the Supreme is mentioned in this verse. The foremost point is that he is not impersonal or void. One cannot meditate on something impersonal or void. That is very difficult. The process of thinking of Krishna, however, is very easy and factually stated herein. First of all, he is Purusha, spiritual, Rama and Krishna, and is described herein as Kovim, that is, who knows past, present, and future, and therefore knows everything. He knows past, present, future, knows everything. Okay. He's the oldest personality because he's the origin of everything, and everything is born out of him. He's also supreme controller of the universe, maintainer and instructor of humanity. He's smaller than the smallest. The living entity is one of 10,000th part of a tip of a hair. But the Lord is so inconceivably small that it enters into the heart of this particle. Therefore, he is called the smaller than the smallest. As the Supreme, he can enter into the atom and into the heart of the smallest and control him as a super soul. Although so small, he is still all-pervading and is maintaining everything. By him, all these planetary systems are sustained. We often wonder how these big planets are floating in the air. It is stated here that the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable energy, is sustaining all these big planets and systems of galaxies. The word Achinta, inconceivable, is very significant in this connection. God's energy is beyond beyond our conception, beyond our thinking jurisdiction, and is therefore called inconceivable, achinta. Who can argue this point? Who can argue this point? He pervades this material world and yet is beyond it. We cannot even comprehend this material world, which is insignificant compared to the spiritual world. So how can we comprehend what is beyond? Achinta means that which is beyond this material world, that which is our argument, logic, and philosophical speculation cannot touch. That what is inconceivable. Therefore, intelligent persons avoiding useless argument and speculation should accept what is stated in scriptures like the Vedas, Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, and follow the principles they set down. This will lead on to the understanding.
Wonderful. Very nice reading, Dr. G. Thank you. Om Agyana Timandasta Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurvita Menasmai Shri Guru Vedama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Gadadati Swapadantikam. So this verse is very, very essential for all those who like to meditate on the qualities of Krishna. And this is very beautiful, that Kavim Puranam. You see, Kavim is like a Kavi, one who knows everything. But specifically, Srila Prabhupada translated this word Kavim as one who knows everything. So we have an idea about people, usually poets is known Kavi. Kavi is like poetic. So poem means they have different ways of using the language, whether it is Sanskrit, whether it is English, whether it is French, different type of language. The Srila Prabhupada usually will say the flowery language of the Vedas or the flowery language of English in some way to describe nature, to describe people, to describe interaction, to describe emotions. Usually that's what Kavi does. So here, that in Sanskrit, specifically applying to Krishna, Kavim here means one who knows everything. So now we understand that the actual poet, who is a Kavi, should be somebody who knows the entirety of this creation. Because through scripture, specifically Srimad Bhagavatam, we come to understand the whole creation. That creating energy of the Lord is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And the spiritual world also is being described in Brahma Samhita. In Bhagavatam, the whole material creation is being described. So who can be the best Kavi? Is the one who can really describe everything as they really are. That's what Srila Prabhupada would say, that the real knowledge, real scientist is to really be able to understand things as they really are. So, and specifically in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, if you read chapter on text 26, the previous chapter, 7:26, Vedam, Krishna saying, Vedaham samahatitani vaktamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mamtu vedana kaschana. So another aspect of somebody who is Kavim, who knows everything as they really are, means that whatever is in the past, the present, and the future also need to be known. That is a true Kavi. So such a person who knows the past, the present, and the future, that would be somebody that we know as Trikalagya. Trikalagya means Trikala, past, present, future. So somebody who knows the past, present, future is known as Trikalagya. And the Lord is being described in this verse 7:26 as Bhavishyani cha bhutani mamtu veda kashchana. The translation of the verse 26 in the previous chapter 7, Krishna is saying that I know everything that has happened in the past. I know everything that is happening now in the present. And I know everything that is going to happen in the future. And I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. So that's in correlation with our verse today about this word Kavi, and which we don't think so much about, like Srila Prabhupada very nicely mentioned about somebody who knows the past, present, and future, and who knows things as they really are. Now, the other aspect to meditate, so we can really meditate on Krishna as the Kavi, that's the actual Kavi. We can also meditate on Krishna as being the Puranam. Purana means the oldest. So Puranam is the most ancient. So we can understand that nothing can predate Krishna, because he's the oldest of the oldest. He's the origin of the material world and the spiritual world. So before Krishna, there's nothing. Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karan Karan. Brahma Samhita says Anadi, since there is no time, since time immemorial, the existence of the world. Before that, there's nobody more ancient, more old than Krishna. He has not originated from anything. Usually something which is old or as an origin which is predated some time, like some date you can put that, but there is no date for the origin of the Lord. So Krishna is without beginning or end. So we have to understand these things. So we can meditate on the energy of Krishna, his quality of Krishna as being Puranam. The other quality of Krishna is what's being discussed here is Anushashitaram. Anushashitaram means the controller, right? God is the ruler, he's the administrator, he's a controller. So he's whole Vasudev Kutumbakam, this whole family is being controlled by the Lord. He's a creator of everything and is a controller of everything. We can understand this as well by a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which mentioned, Srila Prabhupada will often describe it as the peace formula. Bhoktaram yagatapasham sarva lokameshwaram suridim sarva bhutanam amshat. So Krishna is considered to be what? Sarva loka maheshwaram. He is the controller of all, the whole world, whole creation, not the whole world. We can say maybe the states is controlled by the president of the United States. We go a bit higher in Pitraloka, we say Yamraj, Yamdut is a controller there. In Devraj, Indra is, in the heavenly planets, is a controller. Shivlok, Shivji is the controller. But all Sarva Lokamation, all these different lokas, the supreme controller is who? Is Krishna. Sarva Loka Maheshwara. So we have to understand that, and we can meditate on that aspect of Krishna. And then the next quality of the Lord that's being described here is Anoranyam, right? Ano is smaller than the smallest. So we can really think that how God, Krishna, can be smaller than the smallest. It is explained that the different subatomic particle, that's like nowadays, maybe you people have been able to hear lectures on the God particle. Anybody? Any people who have heard the lecture on God particle? Nobody? Nobody? Oh, there is a very interesting lecture on YouTube I was listening to. There was the Isha Foundation Maharaj, Isha Foundation, the Jagat Guru, his name. He was there invited. There was one from Swami Vivekananda's society. There was another person there. There was one representing the Christian person, and then one scientist person were there. Like on a panel, there was like 5 people, and they were discussing about God particle. So we were trying to figure out and make it like a big name, God particle, just to attract people's minds. They were debating on that. But the point is, in our scriptures, I already explained here in the Bhagavad Gita, specifically, Krishna has described the Anu, Anoraniyam, right? So the smallest, or the smallest, so Aniyamsham, the smaller of the smallest particle. So Krishna can be the smallest of everything. So when we try to understand, there's a very nice book, if you can read that. Srila Prabhupada wrote about the easy journey to other planets. If you get a chance to read that book, I recommend everybody to read that book, where Srila Prabhupada is explaining the difference between material particles and immaterial particles. How the whole spiritual world is made of this immaterial particle, this substance which is full of potency to create, and that we can correlate this to this subatomic form of Krishna, and we know that the soul is considered to be one of the 10,000th of the tip of the hair. That's smaller. We know that the soul is being described in the Bhagavad Gita. But the Paramatma also is being described it's like the size of the thumb. It's much bigger in size. But at the same time, since the soul is a part and parcel of the super, is an expansion, so we can see that how the Lord also expand itself in each and different organism. There are so many minuscule, very tiny organisms, microorganisms. And still in each and every microorganism, there's a soul. And the Lord never leaves us alone. Each and every unit, each and every species, the Lord always goes into that species together with the Atma as a super soul. So that is a mercy of the Lord. So we can find how the Lord Krishna's energy is so powerful that it can go in the smallest of the smallest of the atom and microorganisms. So this is one way of appreciating the universal presence of the Lord, by being in the smallest of the smallest. And then Sarvasya. Yeah, Sarvasya Dhata. So the Lord is a source of sustenance. So similar, just like an ocean, you can say that's like an ocean sustains we have the marine ecology, right, which is sustained by the ocean. So similarly, the Lord is sustaining the whole creation by his different energies. And if you chant the Gayatri mantra, for instance, you will see when we meditate on the Gayatri specifically, then we can really appreciate the Sarvasya Dhata principle of the Lord, how the Lord energy is being spread throughout the whole universe and whole existence. And that's why when we do Trikala Sandhya, we chant the Gayatri in the morning, in the midday, and at the sunset. These 3 times we chant the Gayatri, and we meditate on the Sarvasya Dhata aspect of the Lord. And the next word is Achintya Rupam. So no matter what, we try to understand the Lord in different ways as described by the scripture, but yet the Lord is very difficult to understand. It's inconceivable. So our philosophy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread is Achintya Bhedva Tattva. So Achintya Bhedva Tattva means simultaneously one and different at the same time. So that's an amalgamation of the different philosophical treatises that different munis have been writing, and different sadhus and saints, saintly people had come to establish in India. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just came to reunify everybody under one umbrella by expressing the philosophy of Achintya Bhedva Tattva. Right? So we say that, okay, some people say, oh, God is only impersonalist. God is only light and nothing else. Some people say, oh, God is in your heart and is only in my heart. That's it. Or we say God is only in the form. But we say different. We say God is simultaneously in the form of light. And it's different as well at the same time. God is simultaneously in the form of Paramatma, but is present in the Supreme Person, as Supreme Person of God in the full form of Krishna. So the Achintya Bhedva Tattva is considered to be the absolute thesis of philosophy, physical thesis of our Sanatana Dharma. And that's thanks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who come to reconcile all the differences in Tattva. This was how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached to Prabodhan Saraswati, who was a Mayavadi type of impersonalist, and brought him to become a devotee of Krishna and a Bhakta, and who's always, along with him, so many followers became devotee of Krishna. Thanks to this aspect of understanding the Achintya Bhedva Tattva philosophy. So this Achintya Rupa is to be able to understand that how through our mind and intellect it's very difficult for us to understand Krishna. We can't understand Krishna through our mind and intellect, but we can understand the processes by which we can reach to that self-realization, to the process of self-realization. So we can use our intellect and mind to adopt the process of self-realization. In our case, is bhakti. By full devotional service, we were able to realize the inconceivable rupa, the form of Krishna, through once we become self-realized. We have partial self-realization in the beginning. Everybody has that. Krishna gives us a pre-taste in the beginning, in such a way that we can an encouragement to perform bhakti. So that is there. But once when we become self-realized, then we develop that full understanding of this Achintya Rupa, form of the Lord. Next quality that's being discussed in this verse is Aditya Varnam. And Aditya is like Surya, like a sun. Aditya is one of the names of the sun god. And Aditya Varna, the Varna is the dazzling nature of the sun. So that is a luminous sun. So the Lord is as brilliant, like effulgent. And just to a small note on the side is that our body is made of Panch Dhatu, right? Earth, water, fire, ether, and air, right? So we are in the middle planetary system. That's why when we burn our body or the body disintegrates, it mixes with what?
The ashes.
The ashes or the soil.
The soil, yes.
Right? So why? Because in this Bhu Mandal, in this level, the 14th planetary system, on the middle planetary system, the element of earth, the constituent of earth in this body is this tattva is high. It's high proportion to other elements. That's why when it disintegrates, it mixes with earth. As we move on higher planetary system, then the subtle elements get more in percentage. So less of earth, so earth, water, more of water. And as you move more higher, more of fire. As you move up furthermore, more of air and less of the other one. And as go top planets, right, the heavenly planets, you will see there's more ether in the body than the other elements. That's why their body is very effulgent, the demigods. when they come, the Surya Deva come, the body is very, very effulgent. It's so bright, luminous that we can't comprehend. We can the body with our eyes, with our naked eyes. That's on the side note. So I was saying, Aditya Varna, that can think about the Lord. The body of the Lord is so luminous, more. That I was talking about material element. Ether is still in the material platform. What about the spiritual form of the Lord, the Sachitanand Vigraha form of the Lord? That is really more luminous, like the sun. That's an analogy we can see. We can't really, just like the color of Krishna. We don't have that color in the material world, but we can say it's very close to Srila Prabhupada will say, just like before the monsoon falls, the color of the cloud, the monsoon cloud, that is like a grayish blue. That will be the form, the color of Krishna. So what I mean is Krishna's color is unique. Krishna's body luster is unique. The effulgence coming from Krishna is unique. We don't have this in the material world, but we can make an analogy which is close to that, what we can see and observe. Now, the last quality that we should meditate on Krishna, it says, Tamasaha parastat. Tamasa means darkness. Parastat is transcendental. We transcend the mode of ignorance. Just like the sun. When the sun comes, darkness dissipates. Right? The sun comes, darkness dissipates. Similarly, when God comes, when God is giving us darshan, what happens is our ignorance is eliminated. So that is one of the things. Who can tell me how this happens? We say, oh, Krishna won't come in now. Krishna, I'm unable to withstand Krishna's presence. Krishna, I'm not a pure devotee that Krishna will come in front of me. But I'm saying that when Krishna comes, how can Krishna come? There's different ways. So I'll like an open discussion for everyone can input how this can happen, that when Krishna comes, it's just like the sun comes, dissipating the darkness. If you can give me some example how it can be. Ignorance is being dissipated. How?
Well, if you educate ourselves, then our the darkness of our mind disappears.
Yeah, very good. Add something more. You're the right track. So there is something more. How can we educate ourselves in that? What do we do?
Well, that means we learn the teachings of Krishna and implement in our life.
Very nice.
Teach others.
Very good. Any other person?
Read Bhagavad Gita. Gita learn.
Very good. Any other thing?
Chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
Chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Very good. What else?
Serve as a dasha of Krishna.
Yeah, but there is something more that I really want you to. The start with a P. It starts with a P. The of the Lord.
Preaching the name of the Lord.
Pastimes.
Pastimes.
Yes.
Leela, the pastimes of the Lord. That is very important. This is what dissipates that darkness, is pastimes. In Krishna Chaitanya Amrita, the Madhya Leela, 22:31, we say, Krishna Surya Sam. Everybody say, repeat after me. Krishna Surya Sam.
Krishna Surya Sam.
Maya Haya Andakar.
Maya ha andhakar.
Yaha Krishna taha nahi.
Yaha Krishna saha nahi.
Mayar Adhikar.
Mayar Adhikar.
Yeah, so it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that where there is Krishna, it's like the sun appearing. And when the sun appears, right, the effulgence of the sun is so strong that darkness, there's no darkness. It dissipates the darkness. So the darkness of ignorance is being dissipated when we listen to Krishna's pastimes, to Krishna's names, to all the things that we are related to with Krishna consciousness. Actually, this dark universe is emulated by the sun, right? Similarly, our dark mind can be illuminated by when we listen to Krishna's names, pastimes, and words. So, that was all about the shloka I covered. How much time I left now? I'd say a little bit about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Maybe we can do 10 to 15 more minutes.
10, 15 minutes. I'll just do a little thing that's all, because today is a Rath Yatra festival. So I just wanted to just mention a little thing, not too much complicated. But since we were talking about Krishna's meditating on Krishna, one thing which comes in my mind is about the pastimes of the Lord. So the pastimes of the Lord can be, we can get inspiration in two ways. So whenever the Lord meets, when we see the devotees meets the Lord, there is some bhog, right? And that is giving pleasure. That gives us pleasure. The other part is vipalambha bhav, where separation. So separation, we can say separation is what actually intensifies the meeting with the Lord. So just like for an example, if you have your son, for instance, or children, and then you send the boy or the girl to study abroad, and then you say separated from the person, you feel that separation, or you're missing your son, or you're missing your children, they are far away from you. And when they come back to visit you, you feel that emotion more strong, right? More strong, and you enjoy that. You enjoy them more, right? So we can say that the separation help you to have the sambhog. It help you to enjoy more. So in the same way with Krishna, the separation with Krishna make you enjoy the meeting with Krishna. And that's where the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan. So when there was this eclipse, so everybody would go to the Kurukshetra. All the Kurukshetra is a place of, actually Kurukshetra, you see, people don't know, it's a place of pilgrimage, because there were so many sadhus and saints who performed tapasya in that dham previously. So they will take bath. They will go and take bath in Kurukshetra's place. There, they will go and take bath in the pond there. So people, Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra, they all came from Dwarka together with the princesses, and everybody come to that place. And since Kurukshetra is not so far from Vrindavan, so the Brajvasis also went there, right, to meet Krishna, because they miss Krishna so much. So they were in separation. They were missing Krishna. They were in separation. So they were longing to meet Krishna, right? So when they arrive at that place, so when they see Krishna, meeting Krishna, the Brajvasis meeting Krishna. Now Krishna is a king. He's on his chariot. Balaram also was in a chariot, and Subhadra also in a chariot, because they are coming from Dwarka, their chariot. So what happened here is the Brajavasis, all the gopis, everybody, they are unleashing, they are untying the chariot, the horses, so that Krishna don't go. They want Krishna to stay there. They get away. They take all the horses away. The rein of the horses taken away, and then when Krishna's eyes are meeting the gopis' eyes, then Krishna's eyes bulges. It comes to a standstill. There's no blinking happening. So then Krishna's form, when there's this is like a Jagannath form appears. This Jagannath form is a form of full emotional, transcendental emotions that's been exhibited in the body of Krishna, where his eyes become still and eyes bulges out. And this whole form that we see of Jagannath is the bhava, is a Mahabhava stage of Krishna in loving separation of the gopis when they come and meet the gopis. So Balaram, Subhadra, they all exhibit those emotions. That's why the eyes bulge out and there's no blinking. His whole face like that. And the gopis are pulling the chariot back to Vrindavan because they want Krishna, Balaram, and to go back to Vrindavan. This is how the festival of the chariots. This is how it started. The main cause of Jagannath Rath Yatra is a whole process of the gopis pulling back Krishna Balaram to Vrindavan in that mood of separation and bhava. So remember always, Vripalamba, the bhava of separation is very, very important. That accentuate, that increases a love for Krishna, Sambhog. So that would be my small touch for Jagannath Yatra in response to our class today.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for
Prabhuji.
listening.
We'll have 2-3 questions, but before the question, I'm going to show our deities in New Orleans temple, and that Jagannath, you'll see that Jagannath will go out today for a short time or for 1 hour to see the darshan. So everybody hearing? So I'm showing our deities today's darshan. Give me 1 second. Everybody can see this is Gauranga.
Yes.
Oh, very beautiful.
Everybody can see?
Yes.
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 Then one by one I'll show. We have a 3 altar here. This is the Radha Kanta. It's called the Radha Kanta. Like Radha Shamsundar, Radha Madhav. So our deities Radha Kalachadji in Dallas, Radha Nilmadhav in Houston. But our deity's name is Radha Kanta. Everybody can see?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
So beautiful. And then Jagannath, Lord Jagannath will go out today. Yeah, this is Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Earlier I mentioned. Yeah. If you go Odisha, Puri, Jagannath is there. Eastern part of India. So millennium after millennium, our Lordship Jagannath are being worshipped over there. And this deity is very, very significant because 22 hours out of 24 hours, 22 hours is open and 2 hours only close. So my Guru Maharaj mentioning, because in the age of Kali, we are so degraded, we are so fallen. So Jagannath Lord is giving darshan to deliver his children, like we all are his children. So therefore, Jagannath come out also all over the world. Mercy by Prabhupada mercy, we are we'll have Rath Yatra all over the world to get darshan and get mercy to deliver. So this is our like Jagannath. You can see all the altar right now. This 3 altar is here, so I can show from the gate. Also, I can open. Oh, this is closed actually. So 3 deities are here. Yeah, so
Gaurnitai Jagannath Bhadev Subhadra Jiv ki jai.
if Prabhu wants, the Prabhu can take 1 or 2 questions, then we can do short arati. Then thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very well. Very well, all the devotees also.
Hare Krishna. So, do we have any questions for Prabhuji or any comments?
Yeah, I have a question, Prabhu. You mentioned about that Krishnas in the past, present, and future. Is this the term that called Adhyatik, Adidovik, Adibhautik?
No.
No?
Adibhautik, Adhyattik, Adimansik, this is about the miseries. What I'm referring, if you refer to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, and then verse 26.
Yes.
If you go on Bhagavad Gita, right, you will see
7:26.
Krishna is explaining nicely here. Vedaham samatitani varatamani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. So here Krishna is saying that I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and the things that are yet to come.
Yes, I see.
Yeah. So here Krishna is explaining that, and the word that I use is trikalagya. Trikal.
Trikal.
Right? Past, present, future. And trikalagya, one who knows the past, present, and future. And actually, the great sages like Vyasadeva also, who is a literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. So it's also known as Trikalagya because he could see the future and he could see the past and present also. That's why he was writing. So anybody who writes, that's why the Kavi, the real Kavi, the real person who writes, he should be able to see the past, the present, and the future. So a real Kavi is God himself, who actually comes in the incarnation like Vyasadeva to be able to do the writing. Not everybody can write. So people say, no, oh, this Vedic literature, all this is written by a man, Ved Vyas. No, it is Apurusha. It's not Ved Vyas, it's an incarnation of the Lord. It's literally incarnation of the Lord. Swayam Krishna comes and actually is empowered incarnation. So that's a particular soul, but Krishna empowers that particular soul by his potency. And then he's writing now. So he's able to see the past, present, and future. So a real Kavi should be able to do that.
Anadi means infinite?
Anadi, yeah. There is no beginning, no end. Anadi.
Okay.
No beginning, no end.
No end.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the name of the book you mentioned about the Easy Journey to?
Oh, yeah, you should read this book. Easy Journey to Other Planets.
All the planet, I see. Okay. Good.
So that is a very beautiful book by Srila Prabhupada, very scientific. I recommend this. Everybody who's studying science, they should read this book. All scientists, especially those who like physics, they should read this. This is one of my inspiration also. This book inspired me a lot.
So it's talk about atomic particles.
It talks about matter and immaterial. It talks about immaterial particles.
Okay.
So that's like material particles have mass, charge, and they will be spinning, but immaterial particles don't have charge. It's called antimatter, right?
Yeah, electron, proton, neutron, boson, or some other.
So Einstein asked this question. Einstein asked a question. He said, who determined that the electron should be negative and the proton should be positive? Who determined that?
Well, because that is how the in the atom level, that is how they keep the balance. Positive charge.
We know that there
Yes.
should be there should be a negative and positive. That we know, that's charge. We know that charge. But how do you figure out that electron should be negative? Proton could have been negative, and electron could have been positive.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying?
but how can you change that? But that is the nature, laws of nature.
So the point,
Of
he himself said that. He said, how do you determine that the electron should be negative? The point is, we put the name there. It's
Yes.
our shortcomings. So you will see that whatever we see, whatever thesis we've been writing, whatever concept that we have, they are all our shortcomings of the truth. They are not the absolute truth. They are our shortcomings. This is a way for us to understand the truth. It's like a clue. It's like a process, but it's not the absolute truth. So that's why the scripture is the absolute truth, if you want to know. Because what is science? It's an attempt to explain what's really going on, reality. Physics specifically is an explanation of the natural laws of physics to explain what reality is, right? That's an object. But finally, you will see that it says limitation. We can't, that's like Einstein said that we can't solve a problem by the same consciousness that put us in the problem in the first place. Understand? So we can't arrive at a solution with the same mental framework, with the same consciousness that we've been into the problem in the first place. Yeah, for which we became the problem. So we are part of the experiment. So we should get out of the experiment and then try to approach it in a scientific way. And that's what meditation does. Today we are talking about meditation, actually, how to meditate on the different qualities of Krishna. So when we sat down on meditation and we do japa, what we are doing actually, we are lifting our conscious high so as we can get out of the experimental box. We are out of the box, and then we can really see things as they really are. So if you stay in the box and try to see things because you're part of the experiment, you will always have biased results. And this is what scientists are doing. They have to get out of the box and observe and have actual data, have actual real conception of reality.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Madan Kundu Ji, for asking such a important question, and thank you, Nabeen Krishna Prabhu, for answering it so beautifully. Any other questions? We'll take maybe one more question because it's almost 12:30. Okay, so I have one short question, Prabhuji. I think you've already mentioned it briefly, but how can we observe today Jagannath Rath Yatra in the sense that what should be our mood when we are pulling the cart, pulling the chariot?
Yeah, the question make me remember when I was I had the chance to be in Jagannath Rath Yatra. I forgot which year it was, but it was Nabakalebar. So Nabakalebar is the time when the deities are being refreshed. So what happens? They have new deities. So I'll just explain this little bit story a little bit. So the deities are special, very special trees. They have to be chosen. What happens is the main priest. The Krishna actually comes in the dream of the priest, and they know which tree should be used for Balaram, Jagannath, and Subhadra. And there is a snake that protects that tree. So the whole process is that appears in the dream. Then that particular priest will go there where the snake is. They will do a particular prayer. The snake will go away. Then they will pick up that tree, and then they will carve out the new deities. So I had the chance to have darshan of the new deities in 95, 96 or 95, 96, I think. So at that time, I was in the mood of Haridas Thakur, in the sense that I was thinking that I'm not qualified to enter the Jagannath temple, so I will have darshan outside. So I was with my spiritual master, and then when I was at mood, when in the Grand Road, it's like a river of people. The Grand Road is like a big river of people. Just like river has current. So if you go inside that, there is no way you can get out of that river of people, because wherever the crowd is pushing you, you're going to be going with that crowd. I've been in that crowd, so that is really imaginable. There are millions of people there, the whole area at that time. And where the cart is going, you don't even know. The cart goes, and if something comes in front of the cart, then they have to destroy that place. They'll go. So Jagannath chooses where to go and when to stop and what to do. So that's one part. So pulling the cart, the whole idea for me going to the crowd was to pull the chariot and to get to touch even the rope. Yeah. So the rope is something so special. It's not like normal rope. It's so thick, the rope. They make the rope so thick to pull the chariot. So I could get this piece of rope. I don't know where I kept it. I used to keep it for a long time. I don't know where it gone. But I had so many remembrances from that particular episode. Some rope, some of the flag, some special prasad when Jagannath is sick. So it stays outside the chariot. Then we get a chance to go have darshan of Jagannath. So the mood of to be is always in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us. Mahaprabhu always taught us how to love Krishna in separation. So if you really want to really taste Krishna consciousness, you should always try to taste Krishna in the Vipralamba Bhav, Mahaprabhu's way. Mahaprabhu came to teach us how to do bhakti. So Mahaprabhu came, Prabhu Acharya, in Bengali there's a nice bhajan, how Prabhu Acharya means how Mahaprabhu comes and apne achar se sikha rahe hain ki kaise bhakti karna hai. Mahaprabhu came to, when Mahaprabhu was here, he was crying in separation of Krishna, and he was making other people cry as well. So Mahaprabhu taught us how to cry for Krishna. So if the mood that we have to be in Jagannath Puri, in the mood of the gopis, they were crying for Krishna in separation. So that should be, we're pulling Krishna, we're pulling the cart back to Vrindavan. And we want Krishna to be in Vrindavan ways, eternally residing, right? So that's the mood. The mood is in separation. So the mood of pulling the Rath Yatra should be, oh, I'm pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan. That is a mood. We have to try to get that. Yeah.
So the cart was pulled by the gopis,
Yeah,
to bring it in the Vrindavan, but how come the actual Jagannath, I mean, the Rath Yatra started in Puri, but not in Vrindavan.
the Rath Yatra started where? In UP.
I mean, the Rath Yatra is famous at the Puri, but not in Vrindavan.
Yeah. So that's the originally when Krishna's time I was talking, like 5
Oh, I
7
see.
years back.
Okay.
But now we have Rath Yatra. That's another story. Indranyum Maharaj also story there, how the deities were there, how the deity appeared in the form of log, and how they were. There's this connection with Srimad Bhagavatam in Dwarka, how the body, Krishna's body is being left. There's a lot of connection with that. One day we'll do a class on that, how everything is connected. Then you will see how it is.
So the Rath Yatra is also observed in Vrindavan?
Yes, everywhere.
Oh, I see.
Prabhupada brought Jagannath everywhere.
I see.
So unfortunately now, I think in India, they have a rule now that it should be only observed in Puri and nobody, something like that happened. I've heard. I don't know if it's still on. I think you know better. Now in India, they had a rule that only Jagannath Puri people can do Rath Yatra on Rath Yatra day. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.